can you talk a little bit about like when you first started working leads, just in general, not us, but like, can you walk us through those first 30 days? Like, was it hard? Was it difficult? Can you talk a little bit about maybe some of the obstacles and explaining, newer agents like, hey man, I've never ran leads. What do you say to them? And what was your first 30 days like?
This is the funniest thing in the world because, as you mentioned, I came from doing like what we call a warm market, right? Basically, it's like friends and family getting referral. Basically, it's very effective to an extent, right? There's a cap limit because at the end of the day, like, let me ask you, like, think about this, right? How many family members can you sell life insurance to, right? Or help with financial planning to, right? And then how many other people do you think they could refer you to, right? It's a slower speed of growing effectively. Does that make sense? Right?
Yep.
It's again, it's very effective, but at the end of the day, it's very slow. Because I think even at my previous practice company, after a couple of years, I was actually able to make six figures a year. But it took a while to ramp up to that, right? Whereas leads, guys, if you get into the leads game, like literally like your first year, 2 years in a business, you could literally be making six figures like pretty fast. Like I know people, I've talked to a lot of people. There's a lot of new people who never done insurance sales before. And coming into this industry, they're making like 10, 20, $30,000 their first 2 months in the business, right? And it all comes down to basically having a good lead source. And the first time I did leads, guys, I was horrible. Just to let you guys know, okay? So
Yeah. Be honest, man. We love it. We
yeah.
love it.
And so, I mean, I'm like, I'm like, man, I know how to sell. I know how to, influence people. I mean, I made six figures in the past before. And so when I first bought my first lead pack, right? And like a lot of people, I call people asking, hey, how's your day going? I'm trying to be relatable, like, which is, I mean, that's what we've been taught our life to do. But when it comes to lead, it's almost a different type of interaction you got to have, right? There's like, just like baseball has this rule, basketball has this rule, leads has a rule compared to basically working in warm market and like friends and family and whatnot. Okay. And so I came with the exact same mindset I had from warm market and got chew out. Right. And so I didn't have any success. I think literally it wasn't until like I bought two lead packs. Okay, guys, I bought a fresh lead pack, and this was not from Lead Lab. This is from Trade. It was basically from another source, right? I bought an aged lead pack and I bought a fresh lead pack. I tried a fresh one first, didn't get any sales. Tried to age one afterwards, didn't get any sales. And then I remember it was like literally yesterday. I think it was probably like around November, and I remember it was like a holiday. Okay, it was like a holiday. It was a Monday. I think it was Veterans Day or something like that. And I was like, you know what? I got nothing going on, right? Me and my wife and the kids, we didn't go do anything else that weekend. I think there's maybe a football game on TV. I was like, let me call these leads, okay? So I did $3, okay? First one didn't pick up. Second one, not interested. Already got life insurance. Try to turn that around. He just basically hung up on me. Third person, she said, oh, hey, I already got life insurance. I'm like, okay, hey, that's no big deal. I mean, but are you open to go ahead and get something to see if it's a little bit better than what you currently have? And she said, yes. Okay. And ended up helping her with a small little policy. It was like a $25 month policy, a 10-year term policy. Right. So,
Right.
yeah, I literally, I probably made like maybe, I don't know, like $200 on that little deal. But that was the spark I needed. Because at that point I knew, hey man, this stuff works. Right. It just comes out. I gotta work it, and I gotta basically get good at it. I gotta get more people into my lead flow, right? So I guess to
Mhm.
say my first 30 days was horrible. Okay, my first 60 days I didn't do anything with it. It wasn't until probably like my 90th day I actually try it, or not try, but basically I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and just give it one more shot to see where this lead to. And again, that was from old leads. That was leads that were probably like maybe 6, 7 months old. Basically, if I would have got fresher leads and just kept the momentum of buying leads and so forth, I probably got a lot faster result faster. And that's the funny part. Okay. So like this is learning lesson, right? So again, from what we done, right, in the past is we always done full underwritten policy, right? The best pricings out there and so forth. And that again, that's a different mindset when it comes to lead. Okay. They say lead is speed, right? You gotta call that lead as soon as possible. But also basically speed issue is also important. Okay.
Mm.
Because a lot of people, if you do a fully underwritten policy with a lead, the chance of you having success with it, again, depending on the lead type, but just general life insurance, you may not have that much of a success. Okay. I'm talking about experience because I did that. Okay. And
Yeah.
so with this person, she actually went through the process. She was super cool though. Okay. She was probably like in her mid 20s. She has 2 kids. She's a waitress at Chile. And the funny thing about this base, originally when she told me she got life insurance, right? She actually got a quote. Okay. She actually got a quote from her auto insurance company, right? Now, fast forward, it took us literally till January to get the policy issue. Okay. Mid November for us to go ahead and do the application. She had to do labs and all that good stuff. And then when I finally got paid in mid January, I was like, okay, cool. Let me take this $200 and actually reinvest in the leads. And that's what I did. Okay. And at that time, our IMO had a special going on, which was like a buy one, get one free, right? Everything was half off. And that's what I did. I bought fresh leads, right? At that point. And then all of a sudden, that switch just started hitting. That switch just started start kicking in. And I was converting, not at high rate. I was converting from every 25 leads we're getting, I was converting like one to three. Okay. And they were all like final expense leads. So nothing sexy, nothing like we're talking like no 200, no $300. We're talking about like, 50, 60, 70,
Yeah, just quick ones.
125. Yeah. But the fact that we're doing instant issue policy, guess what? It allows me to go ahead and make money, reinvest it. Make money, reinvest it. Okay. And the thing about this business, guys, especially if you're doing leads, is the fact that, the more leads you have, just like baseball, the more at bats you have, the better chance of you getting on base. You don't have to hit a home run every single time. We got to get you on base. Right. And that's what we did. We just bought leads over and over and over again. And then, we're cranking it out. We're doing pretty well, in that first 60 to 90 days after that first initial sale, and things were doing good. Of course, here's the thing, okay? There's always learning lessons every step of the way. And so, of course, we ran into some chargeback issue afterwards. It wasn't anything wrong with the leads. It's basically how you sell, okay? And so how you present it. And so basically there were some things we had to just tweak out to actually make sure that we're having stuff stick on the book. That was it. At the end of the day, when it comes to chargebacks, always going to happen in this industry, okay? No matter what, right? I never met someone who has 100% persistency unless it's like their first day. If you're a pretty good like salesperson and you're doing the right thing, you have like a 90% persistency, okay? Which is great, okay? And so my thing was I was like, hey, tell them, hey, we could get you pre-qualified. Worry about, submitting it, putting any money out with application until like, down the road and so forth, right? And so which came back and bite me in the butt with some of these people, okay? You got to confirm that they actually want it, okay? Because at the end of the day, a lot of them, the most common objection you're going to get when it comes to leads is, I got to think about it, okay? I got to think about it, right? If they got to think about it, you got to confirm this is something they even want to have, right? If it's something they want to have, then yes, okay, move forward with it. Do what you can. If money's an issue right in a spot, then hey, you know what? Push it back further if you need to. Okay, within that 30-day limit. Okay, but do not jeopardize your license. Do not jeopardize the integrity of your company. Do not jeopardize your persistency for someone who's just like is really wishy-washy. Okay, you got to determine if you got to have that deep conversation with them, and if it's something that they want to have, that they really want to make sure the family's protected, then feel comfortable giving the permission to get them moving forward at that point. Right. Remember, you're in the driver's seat, right? A lot of people don't realize it, but it's not the client that determines if they get approved or if they're going to get a policy. You, the agent, or the person driving the sale. Okay. And if you're driving that sale, make sure this is something that's going to stick with you, not for the upfront, but also in the long term. Okay. Because persistency is very important. So again, just confirm if this is something they want to have. If they do want to have it, then go through the application. And if it's just some money issue, then go ahead and basically figure out when's a good time for them to draft it, right? And here's a follow-up to this, okay? Let's say, you know what, Trey, you sold policies to a lady, and she can't draft it right now. It has to be next month, 30 days from now, on the 1st, right? Every week, what I would do, right, learning what I learned now, is basically the fact that remind them, right? Remind them a week before, remind them 2 weeks before, remind them the day before, remind them as well, because that way they know, right, that this is going to be taken out. That way there'll be no surprises, but also at the exact same time, you're having that constant communication with them. And we have constant communication with someone, the chance of that policy getting replaced is very slim at that point.